Hi there, if this is your first time on our channel, please do subscribe and turn on the notification. Right now, we have Alex Yoong on the RSS with HD. Hi, welcome to the RSS with HD with myself, Rashid Salleh, and as well Haresh Deol. We'd like to firstly thank Amnig, our apparel sponsor, for the show. We're going to get straight into it because we've got someone really exciting today. Please welcome to our show, Mr. Alex Yoong, because we haven't seen him in ages. Oh, there we go. Sorry. There you are. Yeah, okay. Thanks for being on the show, Alex. I know we haven't spoken for a very long time. I know you've been busy with all your shows and now with the esports as well. Yeah. But I'm going to let Haresh do all the talking because I know if I say something, it might get controversial.
Sure, go for it, man.
Hi, Alex. How have you been?
Yeah, good, man. Good to see both of you.
Likewise. Here's the thing, Alex. Let's just jump into the conversation that we'd like to ignite through this show, yeah? COVID-19 has impacted the whole world, especially F1 and motorsports. Now, with the easing of the MCO, as we are seeing in Malaysia at the moment, how do you think the industry should bounce back? And can the Sepang International Circuit, through its new CEO, Azhan Sharifan Hanif, help the industry to a certain extent?
Okay, so we're going to talk sports in general. Obviously, that's going to change everything completely. I actually think it will get back to a kind of normal, but it's going to take a while, man. Maybe even next year before that happens. But for motorsports, yeah, motorsports is going to be affected just like every other sport. But in a way, we are in a better position because of esports. The skills are very much transferable across sim racing, e-racing, to the real life racing. So we've seen a lot of professional drivers get on sim racing and go very quick. So that's entertaining. And let's not forget, sports is entertaining. So it's not like sports comes to a complete standstill, like say football or something. So there is a bit of wiggle room. Now, I think the last bit of your question is about SIC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean SIC, and of course, let's not forget the new ASN Motorsport Association of Malaysia. They got big jobs in their hands. They got to try and get motorsport started again. Maybe with the new heads in, we can have some new ideas. Because let's not forget, people forget this. Motorsport was really rocking in Southeast Asia, and especially Malaysia in the 90s. We've had great international events here, but the local motorsport scene has been suffering for quite a while now and needs as much support as possible.
No, I'm glad you raised that up because we remember in the 90s there were a lot of grassroots programs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, you don't really see that many. In fact, this was something that you highlighted quite recently. We seem to be very fixated with F1, with MotoGP, but what about events to unearth new talents?
I mean, you guys have been in sports. You know there's a lot of talent in Malaysia. There is a lot of talent. You go to MSN, you see some of the boys and the girls that come down, and this is an interesting problem we have with sports in general, not just motorsports. But quite often they end up leaving the sport early. They don't, there's no proper progression, they don't get treated well. It's a general problem with Malaysian motorsport. I mean, I've seen so much talent disappear early. Now, what is unique to motorsport is it's very expensive. So, it's just out of the reach of everyone. And I think Formula One, I'm glad it's gone because everyone's so fixated on it. And I benefited hugely from that. Don't get it wrong. And I'm very appreciative of that benefit that I got because it helped me in my career. And so don't think I'm ungrateful for that. But to get another Formula One driver is actually quite simple, but stupidly expensive. You give me 10 million euros and give me an 8-year-old, I'll send him to Italy and then the UK for 10 years. And pretty good chance I can get him in Formula One. but that's just stupid numbers to think about these days. The numbers are astronomical. But it does nothing for local motorsports. It doesn't help local motorsport one iota. It's aspirational, but that's it. So yeah, in the 90s we had 2 functioning racetracks. They were busy all the time with lots of local motorsports. Yep. Now both those racetracks have disappeared. We have Sepang, which is a great facility, and in general, I think Sepang's been doing a pretty good job the last 10 years. But they've been running it like a business, right? Which is their prerogative. Which means they sell space, and Klang Valley has a general lack of venues for events. So they do fill up that space on that track, but not with much motorsports, especially not for local motorsports, or at least days that are allocated to them, not given enough lead time for the teams to prepare. So motorsports is just here, and it can't go to here because there's no venues, there's no events. The only motorsport doing well locally is Cup Prix, and Ron Hogg does a great job at Cup Prix. That's because he's not restricted to one track. He goes to the townships and he builds tracks.
Correct.
And they're sold out. They're massive. They're huge. There's a huge industry around it. Whereas the rest of motorsports, they're very much dependent on Sepang. So I don't know what the plan is. A lot of issues. I think we're biased because we're also sportsmen, right? So we're always going to be pushing it. But you can't deny that there's a healthy aspect of sports. Sports, like entertainment, like fitness, will always be around. There will always be a need for that. And there are just no negative connotations to it, really. So, I may be biased, but I think it deserves its proper support and focus.
But if we were, sorry, Harish, but if we were to focus solely on on development, you just mentioned about it not having enough tracks. What if we focus on go-karting? Would that be something similar? Because go-karting, you can really literally put circuits anywhere or in the streets.
Yes, and our go-karting scene is pretty good. If you want to talk about top professional teams, I think the best teams in Malaysia are go-kart teams. They run at a very high level. The touring car teams and the other GT teams, they're the ones that are very good are foreign owned. They're not really locally owned.
Right.
So the best teams where I see run at a high level are the go-kart teams, and that's because there are 3 go-kart tracks in Klang Valley. There's one in Langkawi. There's one in Johor. There are enough go-kart tracks, but it's still out of price right now. It's you have to be upper middle class to afford that at the very least, because you still to do a year's go-karting still is you still got to spend 100,000 ringgit, and that's beyond the cost of most people. I hopeful the governing body will put more incentives in play to make it cheaper. Like, for example, we don't have to buy all our equipment from Europe. We can make our equipment here. We just need to support the right industries here that can do that. Make it standardized, because these are sort of things that don't add to the show, don't help drivers, but there are ways to make things cheaper, and people need to be creative, that's all. But like in the 90s, there were a lot of cheap racing, and to be honest, there is some cheap racing still now. MSF do a really good job. They make a lot. They do a great job, actually. They do Adian runs that, and they do a lot. You should get Adian and Ron Hogg on your show. They do a good job of making it really cheap. The Proton Saga Cup, you can run a weekend of that and for like 2,000-3,000 ringgit, which is still expensive, but at least a larger proportion of the middle class can start to afford that, and it makes it better. But again, with that you struggle with venues, struggle with track time. So I see a lot of drivers come down, they're enthusiastic, but do they have the track time to improve? No, not really. So they kind of stay at a certain point.
What I wanted to ask you earlier is that I know that you're justified based on the fact that it's really expensive creating another F1 talent, for example. But isn't it equally frustrating on your side that till today you remain the sole Malaysian to ever compete in the F1? I mean, frustrating in the sense that there is no sense of progression to a certain extent, not necessarily to F1, but across the board.
Bikes as well, I guess. there are a couple of bike riders that quit just before they were, I think, about to make it. Sharo Yuzi was actually one of them. I was a big fan of him. His last year, I thought he made that jump. I was really hoping he had one more year. Yes, he took a long time to get there, but you can't measure his progress compared to the European riders. You know, the drivers and athletes here will mature slower just because we don't have that sort of infrastructure around us. I wish it hung on for a couple more years. But there have been some other, I mean, we got some good ones now. But in cars, yeah, I thought Jasmine was good enough for Formula One. But you know what? But again, it's so expensive, right, to keep them going. You really have to be based in Europe. You know, the only, Asian that is really doing a good job in Formula One is Karun Chandok, but he's gone into broadcasting. Yeah. And that's because he bases himself there. And that's the issue. You have to be based in Europe. So why do we keep chasing these European-based championships? We should be focusing on making our own stuff. And that's been frustrating for me. So that's why, while my heart always been the sport, well, across two sports, motorsports and water skiing, I'm focusing on things that we can actually get stuff down, where we don't have to rely on government or other initiatives. And that's why I'm going to esports. Esports, at least, is cheaper to run. Everyone can afford esports. And there's some real talent there. Wow, we got some really good talent. I'm quite excited to see where these guys will be in 5 to 10 years. I think they'll be world class, actually.
Sorry, Alex, but I have to ask you this. Wouldn't it be time for you to come up with your own championship and your apparel?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I did. So, I love racing, and as a racer, if I'm not going to drive, I want to be involved as a team, because a team is, running a team, whether you're an engineer or a team boss or whatever, or a team manager or a mechanic, is still as exciting as driving, because it really whets the competition. But there are a lot of good teams here now. Enough good teams. There are enough good teams now. So I'm focusing on organizing now. We are running our own racing championship. We started last year. We did a couple on-the-ground tournaments, and it went really well. EGG showed us, and the numbers for EGG were really fantastic. I was really happy with the numbers we got from EGG. They've been a great media partner. So now with the MCO, we've been doing a whole bunch of online stuff, and that's been going really well, with a lot of good participation from around the region. And that's what I'm encouraged with, because when we started it, I knew who would be good, and they were good. But as the series went on, they got better and better and better. And we just finished our global edition last week, won by Alif. He uses a nickname, Alif Hamilton, a Singaporean. The guy who finished second was a guy, Muhammad Nakib, who is Malaysian and only been doing it for 2 years, and he was pretty exceptional. So we have some good talent there. So we're going to focus on trying to provide good race series online, because that's where the numbers are, and we don't have to be dependent on one racetrack to run that.
Sure.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot something else. We also had some good drivers join our championship. We had Eduardo Mortara, who's the Formula E race winner, DTM vice champion. Jan Erler, WTCR race winner. That's the great thing about esports, is you can use your connection, call people up, and they'll come and join you, which again raises the level.
So much easier, isn't it? Because they don't have to get off their seat.
Yeah. Literally.
Any final questions, Haresh?
Yes, last one about water ski. I mean, you mentioned earlier, that's your other passion. And here's the thing about water ski. It suffers the same issue with a lot of water-based sport, like canoeing. The thing is that we've got so many lakes in the Klang Valley, yet we don't see the facilities to complement something that can be done just, easily. Within the comfort of our zone, it's like we're surrounded by water. We've got so many lakes. I think there are more than 10 lakes in Klang Valley.
It's kind of bizarre. Thanks, obviously, to the tin mining industry. So thank you very much for that. We've got loads of lakes everywhere. But yes, like marinas haven't really taken off. We don't have that many people sailing, even though we're a peninsula.
Correct.
So water sports is kind of strange. I love being in the water since I was a kid. But I think water skiing's biggest problem is it's very expensive. It's like motor racing. Not as expensive as motor racing, but it's still expensive. But there are cheaper alternatives out there. So we at the Wakeboard Water Ski Federation in Malaysia are trying to see if we can get more facilities going as well. Cable parks. If I can find a place to put a cable park, they're dirt cheap. Cable parks are really cheap. You have to spend quite a bit on the investment of the facilities because you need a cable to go around a lake. But the lake only has to be the size of a football field.
Oh, that's
so
okay.
We have loads of football-sized mining around
yeah.
Klang Valley.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. There's so many great facilities in Kota Damansara, in that area there, and good population base, where we could do something quite nicely. And it's dirt cheap. It's you can spend 50 ringgit and you can be there a whole day skiing on a cable park because the upkeep is very cheap and you only need 2 operators to run, and you make all your money through F&B because people get hungry and so cable parks are the way to go for water skiing. But one thing at a time. I'm just focusing on esports for the moment.
All right.
So
Okay.
sorry, you're the acting president of the Malaysian Water Ski and Wakeboard Federation. Now, before we let you go, I just want to find out, will you be engaging with the local authorities with regards to what you just mentioned? I know your big priority is now with e-racing, but this is something that it's doable.
Well, I mean, water skiing's in such a good shape. Well, it's in good shape. It's really down to our president, Datuk Sri T.Y. Lee. And of course, my father, Hanifa Yoong, has done a fantastic job on keeping the sport going. So Datuk Sri, he stood down this year. So in effect, I'm the acting president. Yes, the plan is to engage. But it's a new role for me. I'm going to take my advice from Datuk Sri and my father at this point. And where I can help, I can. But that, at the moment, is stuff we'll be looking at after the MCO is over.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Alex, for giving your time with us for the show. It was really nice, very informative as well, especially with this MCO happening. And I hope you're staying safe and staying home as well. One thing I'd like to say is, I still think you look better without the beard and the moustache.
No, he's just jealous he can't keep any beard or moustache.
No. I've known him a long time. It's like he's, sometimes, some things are better left, shaved.
I know. But we live in a shallow society. And if you want to get stuff done, people respond better to figures of maturity here, especially in Malaysia. So I'd rather look older than my age.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. Okay, but thank you very much, Alex, and it was very good to have you on the show.
Great to see you guys.
Thanks. Now, of course, for the rest of you, don't forget to subscribe to us and turn on the notification. Thank you again to Amnig, and from Harish and myself, this has been the RSS with HD.